Hello, my name is Kathleen Chiras, and today's exclusive interview features one of the top buyer agents in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Karsten Musaeus. Karsten is a broker who works as a partner with Wanda Jo Plott, who is also one of our 10 plus rated brokers. Karsten has been a realtor broker for 42 years, 25 years of which were spent practicing real estate in the greater Colorado Springs and surrounding areas. He has a strong background in all residential property, in single family, condos, townhomes. He can even do construction, new construction, land, investment properties, first-time buyers, military moves in and out, luxury homes, distress sales. He has experience for everything you could imagine. And the team of Wanda and Karsten joined our buyer agent search network back in 2015. And this team has consistently received excellent reviews from the buyers that we've sent over to them. So good afternoon, Karsten. It's great to have you here with us for an exclusive interview. Please quickly introduce yourself to our viewers and tell us your biggest motivation to becoming a buyer's agent.
Well, good afternoon, Kathleen. It's a pleasure to be with you. Biggest motivation for being a buyer's agent. When you're dealing on the buy side, people are looking for not just a house, they're looking for a home. And what motivates us most is to be sure that people find the right home. We actually have a system, we call it the best home system, because we have found that our job is not to sell houses. Houses sell themselves. Our job is to ensure that we find the right home where people's heads, the rational side, and heart, the emotional side, cross over together to make the right choice. We try to educate, we try to counsel, and if anything else, we're very good at negotiations, and we see our job as protecting our people and giving them all the options available so that they've got a great education and making the right kind of decision. We have a joke in our office, and that is, when we say protecting our clients, we mean the following. If we think it's not in their best interest, we're going to throw our bodies in front of their moving train and tell them, you're free to ignore us, but this is what we think would be in your best interest. And people appreciate that because they feel like we're not trying to sell them something. We're trying to actually hear their head, their heart, and help them buy the home that they really need. So there's a great deal of satisfaction whether you're a first-time home buyer or whether you've been through this a number of times before. That drives us a lot as a team, and Wanda and I are very proud of approaching that way.
Karsten, could you also tell us a little bit about how you can help buyers due to your mortgage background experience, your financial experience? Could you please just throw that in here?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. The truth of the matter is most of us mortals don't have cash to just buy a house. It does happen. We're always happy when that does. That's fine. But for the vast majority of us, it involves financing. I owned mortgage banking companies when I was younger. And in that process, I learned a great deal about how real estate financing actually works. I've trained processors, underwriters, loan officers, funders, all these words you may have heard at some time or another that make up a mortgage company's background. But the one thing you learn is how to help people understand how the financing works, because it's kind of a mystery to a lot of people. There's a lot of language in any industry, and mortgage lending is no different, that can confuse people. What are points, and what are discounts, and what's this, and what's that? I take a lot of pleasure and pride in breaking all that down and putting it into simple language that actually helps people get control of their financial destiny. So when I have a client that walks in the door, regardless of whether they are financially astute or not, we're going to at least find out if they understand how that process works. And I want to ensure that when we're done, that they do understand how it works, and so they have control of their own financial destiny. 15 minutes of that is an eye-opener for just about 9 out of 10 people that we talk to. They will now be able to control how their financing works, and they'll know what they can afford, so they're not buying more than they should, or for that matter, buying less than they thought they could if they wanted to. It's enormously helpful, and I bring that to the table. So, long answer to a short question, but it's really important.
Well, that's very well said, Karsten. So can you tell us something interesting or unique about the Colorado Springs area, since you've been there since the 90s and I'm sure know the neighborhoods and everything inside out?
Yeah, we made a conscious decision. We've been in Southern California for about 15 years and made a conscious decision to actually move. Um, our business had been going well, but we decided we needed a lifestyle change just because we wanted a place that was a little less hectic, less traffic, and everything else. And we started looking in various states, and we traveled around and settled on Colorado and then settled on Colorado Springs. What really got our attention was clean air, um, less traffic, a beautiful mountain right at the base of our city. And in fact, this particular mountain is the mountain that it's called Pikes Peak, that the song America the Beautiful was written from the top of by a lady who hiked all the way up there and said, "Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain," etc., etc. And it wasn't an overstatement. When we got here, we loved the life that it afforded us. If you're an outdoors person, you're going to love it. If you like getting to know your neighbors and have a smile where you go, you're going to love it. If you like being proximity-wise close to everything, and yet able to find neighborhoods that are unique unto themselves, because we're not just a flat land. We have very unique neighborhoods that you can find. There's like hidden mysteries that are really great here. So if you like biking, if you like hiking, if you like outdoors, if you like a little bit of winter, by the way, Colorado Springs, even though we're in Colorado, is not up to our elbows in snow during the winter. That is a mythology. In fact, we get most of our snow surprisingly in the springtime. And that just comes because, and we're grateful for it because it comes, it stays for half a day and it's gone, but we like the moisture. So there's so much about this place, including really clean air. And we don't say this bragging, it's just a fact. We get about 300 days of sunshine a year here. That's pretty great. I grew up in Oregon where I don't remember seeing the sun until I was about 18 years old. So nothing against Oregon. I'm just saying if you like sunshine, you'd love living here. So there you go.
Would you please tell us a little bit about what a average median price of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home would cost in Colorado Springs? I know there's a lot of variation between neighborhoods, which you would help people hone in on what is best for them. But in general, what would you say is the median price of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Colorado?
Sure. Good news, bad news. You know, that's the old joke, right? Bad news was about 5 years ago, it would have been around 175 to 185,000. Because we are so much appreciated by the rest of the country and people like living here, prices have gone up. Our median price now is about 325, between 315 on the low end, 330 on the upper end. That's our median price. And that gets you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car, probably a couple thousand square feet home in a nice neighborhood, that kind of thing. So while prices have gone up, I can tell you right now from the finance side of thing, with interest rates down in the threes, which we're very grateful for, you can afford a lot more house than a lot of people think these days. It's literally come down a full percentage point almost in the past year. So now is a great time. And the city is growing. but it's a growth that is manageable. And if you buy here, I dare say you won't regret doing so, both for the lifestyle, but also in terms of over time. I know that property will continue to increase just because of the desirability of where we're living.
So say I were an out-of-state buyer and I've decided Colorado Springs is the place I want to move to. I've got good credit. I've had my job for a few years and I've decided I can relocate to Colorado Springs. What should I do to prepare for that move?
Well, I would say, at the risk of sounding a little self-serving, get a hold of us. And the reason I say that is we can set you up on a profile, is what we call it. We literally can make you like you're a realtor, in that we'll be able to put you inside our multiple listing system where you'll see all properties that are currently available that meet your minimum requirements, not to exceed your maximum price. And it'll show up on a daily basis, and you'll get a quick overview, a continuous overview at that, of what's going on in any particular area, any particular neighborhood throughout the greater Colorado Springs area. And you'll see it in real time, because realtors, when they list a property, they put it in our multiple listing system, and we now have access to be able to put you inside of it. And when you're inside of it, when I say it's real time, I mean it's real time. You'll see what's actually available that very day. And that is really good. And it's with a great deal of information and pictures and so on. You'll become very smart as a consumer really fast. It'll help you a lot. I guarantee you. That's number one. And number two, if you give me a call, I have opinions about financing, as you may guess, given my background. I have some good options for you. And I don't have, as they say, a dog in the hunt. I just know the right people to talk to because I've vetted them. And I know that we can work with really good lenders who will take really good care of you. And we have an agreement with all of them. Number one, always tell the truth. Number two, if you can't help them, that's a fine answer. Just let us know and we'll move along and find somebody else. And they do that because they want to keep us happy, if I can put it that way. They appreciate the fact that we operate on a high level of integrity, and they know that's our expectation. So we can get you pre-qualified. We can get you into the marketplace visually where you can see no matter where you are. I mean, we deal with clients all over the world because we have military here. All over the world, they're checking on us day and night using that profile, and it helps enormously. So that would be the way to get started. And by the way, if you're first time at this, anything that you share with us, and I mean this sincerely, we are fiduciaries, which is a big 50-cent word for what you tell us stays private. Okay, we are your, we're like an attorney for you, so to speak, in real estate, in that what's said here stays here. And I want you to understand that. So you can ask us anything, and we've helped people all the time, even if they've had credit issues and so on. You'd be amazed at people who were told they can't buy a house. And we, because we know what we're doing, have helped them to do so. And that's maybe one of the biggest joys we have. People who didn't think they could have the American dream. And we've helped them do it. And that's not brag, that's fact. And we take great pride in that.
Karsten, can you tell us an experience that you have had recently with a buyer to help them find their dream home?
Yeah, actually I can. I could give you two or three if we had time, because I work closely with a particular lender buddy of mine, and we've been working for 15 years together. And we had two separate couples. I'll give you the one in particular. They came in and they said, we don't know if we're wasting our time or not because we've been told we can't afford a house. I put them in touch with a lender buddy of mine. He put them in touch with a credit repair company, very inexpensive, I might add. By very inexpensive, I mean inexpensive. And in a matter of 45 days, they had altered their credit scores from being in the fives to the mid sixes. all right, which suddenly meant that they could do what they couldn't have done. They were told they couldn't even buy a house. Now it was a question not of whether they could buy one or not, but which one would they like. And when I tell you that, you should see the light in their eyes. It's like, and it's almost like, please don't tell me that if it's not true. I don't want my heart broken again. It's the truth, and we do it all the time. And so that's somebody who thought they would have to be a renter the rest of their life. No, it's not true. And we've had people that we've helped who are in dire conditions, in terms of their situation, and we've set them out in 6 months, 12 months in some cases. We've turned their whole economic situation around, and they can now buy the house that they never thought was even possible. And that economic background that I have and that lending background I have is a big part of how we make that happen. I should mention as an aside, when I was younger, I helped build houses. So I have a background, it's almost triangulation. I used to build them when I was young. I've spent a great deal of time financing them, and I surely know how to find them and negotiate them and be sure you find the right house. Those three things work really well together in what we do. And people say, well, gosh, you've been at this so long, how come you haven't retired? I'll tell you why. I'm better now than I was 30 years ago, just because of experience. My background is strong, but when you go through years of experience with all kinds of circumstances, I love the learning, it never stops, but it makes me really useful in helping our clients find the right house and be sure they get it.
Well, Karsten, as you've explained in this interview, you have a tremendous amount of experience to bring to the table for any buyer who wants to consider buying there. You've got the financial background, you've got the construction background, you've got the experience of many, many years. So just in a nutshell, what can you tell us that you do to protect buyers who would be buying in the Colorado Springs area?
Okay, that's a really excellent question, and I love that. First thing you want to do is we want to sit down and take a really serious profile of questions about what their head and heart wants. And then I have a map on my wall, which is as big as my wall, of the whole El Paso County area. Colorado Springs is in El Paso County, not Texas. I know that sounds strange, but Colorado Springs. So we're able to give people the whole history of what happened in Colorado Springs, how it came about, and explain to them about how the town grew and what neighborhoods are what. We help them understand school districts. We help them understand locations to the things maybe related to work and all of that. We help them understand neighborhoods that may at face value be hidden to them, they wouldn't even know about. And then we help them understand how to make good choices regarding what's a well-built house. I'll give you an example. Just because a house is older doesn't make it a bad house. But it's really important that we have a really good inspection. It's really important that we do a sewer scoping to be sure that there's no problems in areas you can't see. It's really important to do a radon test to be sure that there's no issues with something called radon. You may or may not have heard about it, but we're really careful to ensure that when you're buying a house, number one, it's in an area that you would really feel good about living in, for all the different kinds of reasons that matter to you, whether it has to do with safety, whether it has to do with location, whether it has to do with schools, whether it has to do with preferences of any other areas that are important to you. And then we want to be sure when you're having, I even have it done on brand new sales, brand new homes. An inspection is important. I have a running joke with some of my builder friends, even when they're buying a house. I say, you will have an outside inspector look at this property, even though you're a builder yourself. And they'll go, why? I said, I tell you what, I'll pay for it if you find everything and I have it done and they don't find anything. I've yet to have to pay for one. Point being, have an inspection done. What's the old adage, a pound, or whatever it is. You want to be sure that you spend a little bit to be sure you don't inherit problems. And our job is to ensure that when it's all done, you got a smile on your face and it lasts past the closing on into the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a long-winded answer to a short question, but there's a process to this to do it right so that you make the right decision. And we want to ensure it's the right home.
Well, Karsten, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to have this opportunity to get to know you and your team, along with Wanda and your assistant. And it's so clear to me that you have such a heart for helping home buyers and that you really do have the expertise to protect them and help them find the dream property that they were hoping for. So thank you so much for being here, and we hope to put many people in touch with your services.
Well, I very much look forward to it, and thank you very much for what you guys do, because you don't get enough credit for the link that you are for the public to find people who actually care. And we'd like to think we're a team that does that also. But I want to say thank you also.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.